Okay, hi everyone. My name is Dr. Theon Sims, and welcome to the Limitless Podcast. Joining us as always is your co-host, Dr. Matthew Preston. Hail up the people, and Matthew.
Hey guys, what's good?
What are we doing today, Matthew? Because we're just literally freestyling it, like back in the old days. Like no guests, no questions, nothing like that. We just let's just talk about the market. How do you think the market's been doing? Recently, I've been seeing a lot of chatter on Twitter, and even I gleaned an article about how the market's like underperforming, stocks are tanking, etc. Finance Twitter is dead. Like, what are your thoughts on all of those different things?
Like, the thing with our market, right? Because we're a small market, certain
Mm-hmm.
companies just make up most of the market. So, like, if you look at the big dogs like Massey, Sagicor, NCB, Scotia, those alone make up almost 30% of the market. So, if those have a drop, a ton of other smaller companies could go up 100, 200, 300%. But if
Mm-hmm.
those companies even go down 20%, 10%, that's going to cause the overall market to drop. So I try not to look at the overall market like that, like to say, oh, the market is down and stuff like that. I just really look at certain companies and stuff. Um,
There's okay, true. I've been seeing though even the amount of trading has decreased as well. And I guess we can send the. I found the business. It's an
yeah, send me
Observer
the
article.
article.
Yeah, it's tumbling tickers. That's what it's titled. Sending you on Telegram right now. Tumbling tickers. After enjoying 2 recent years as the best performing stock index in the world, the JSC is now among the worst performers in 2023, with trading values at about two-fifths of 2022 highs. So I mean, we've heard it. There's even a lack of listings. I don't think any company has IPO'd this year. There was a bond that was listed, Mayberry's bond, but that's about it. A lot of financial uncertainty going on, even with the whole SSL thing earlier on this year, and the tons of other fraud cases that have been coming up. So right now, I would agree with people saying it is rocky. However, you're also pretty right in the sense that we don't invest in the overall market. We invest in individual companies. Like I don't own every company on the stock exchange. I barely even own I barely own any. So the point is, yes, the overall market can be down. However, some stocks will go up, right? So I wouldn't expect every single stock. This isn't the pandemic, like we're out of the pandemic. I don't expect every single stock to be dropping, and not every single stock has dropped. We've spoken about stocks previously, whether on our show or on other people's shows too. Yeah, you called one of the plays, bro. It was. I don't know if we can if you can use your editing magic and so on, but I guess we can clip it from Learn, Grow, Invest. We were under stocks to watch, me and and you spoke about a company. When was that? When was that
It was like
episode?
early April.
Early April. Let's see if we can find it. Big up Learn, Grow, Invest for having us on. Big up Jermaine, always. But Learn, Grow, Invest. We spoke about you spoke about a stock. You spoke about Transjam, and that episode was April what date? April 12th. I found it. Yes. So we recorded that April 12th. Right. Oh, you can also share screens, can't we? So you spoke about Transjam, and I actually kind of want to get into Transjam. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen. Okay. So this is My Money JA. Anybody that doesn't know My Money JA should try and get to know it. In fact, we worked out a deal with the owners of My Money JA, and you can get a 5% discount if you use code Limitless to set up your MyMoneyJA account. So use code Limitless, guys. But yes, so we're talking about Transjam, and that was what, April 12th. On April 12th, Transjam was $1.56. Look at that now. It's traded as it closed $2.10 on Friday. That's crazy still in terms of movements. What is that?
30%.
Yeah, out of my head, that's kind of like 30%. 156. Yeah. So I mean, you called that play, bro. And I actually kind of want to go into Transjam a bit. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can talk about Transjam a little bit. So, do you remember why you like Transjam so much?
I think at the time the so they did an acquisition, I think maybe
Mm-hmm.
end of last year, of the was it Jamaica infrastructure operator JIO. Basically, JIO was someone that they was helping to basically manage the highway for them, and then they were
Mm-hmm.
paying them large sums of money every year. So what they did was they actually bought that company. So they did spend some money upfront, which actually had made them, I think, make a loss in Q4 last year
Yeah.
because they had to spend that money to for that acquisition. But the thing is, when you look at it, the amount of money that they're saving, that they no longer have to pay to JIO, like that was a huge cost savings. I think they actually spoke about it. It was like in the millions of US.
Yeah, it
Let's
was
see.
it was quite a bit of money. Um, and I think they acquired about 51% of JIO. So, and if you look in their most recent, the Q1 report, the quarter one, so that's from January to March of this year, they actually made quite a bit of money. So their revenue went up by the whole group. The revenue went up by 21%, and their expenses actually decreased compared to last year. So last year their expenses were 9.8 million US. And now it dropped to 5.5 million US in that quarter. That's a decrease of 4.3 million US dollars. All right, that's a significant decrease. Of course, their profits actually shot up significantly. So yeah, it was mostly due to increase in revenues because people use the toll road more this quarter of this year rather than last quarter of same period last year. So January to March 2022. I mean, COVID was still around. I think that was when Omicron was fully active and very rampant and so on. But yeah, I mean, the revenues have increased and they've cut a lot of costs by making acquisitions. I think it was a really good move for Trans Jamaica. And yeah, big up to you
And
for
it
calling.
actually aligns similarly with what they said, because essential article, there's this article that Loop had where they interviewed, I think, the managing director of Transjam, Ivan Anderson, and then
Mm-hmm.
he's quoted as saying it will save them approximately 12 million US per year. 12 million US split into the 4 quarters, that's 3 million. And then how much did you say the cost went down by?
4 point. Uh, it was 4 point something. Let
Well,
me see. Yeah, it was 4.3 million decrease. So I mean, yeah, I guess they're on target. I like when
I love
people
it
do
when
that, like they
when they actually
call
do
out
what they
what they're
say.
going to do and actually do what they say. Yeah,
Yeah, you have to
like
be
I
careful
love that.
nowadays. You
Hmm.
have to be careful.
Yeah, but put your money where your mouth is. Like I rate that. So big up Transjam for doing that. And I mean, this the stock price has increased, but do you think it's just because of that? Because I also think the stock price has increased in anticipation of opening up of the other leg. I think it's phase 1C. I don't remember what they call it, but that Williamsfield leg from Maypen to Williamsfield in Manchester, which is close to Mandeville. Williamsfield is almost Mandeville. It's a few minutes out. Um, I've actually driven on part of that leg. Like that last part, they reopened that last leg going to Mandeville. Road looks nice. Road feels nice to drive on. I can't wait for the whole thing to open. And that would be more money to them because set up another toll booth for that route. You're golden. And that's just more cash. It just generated more cash. So I'm assuming that the stock price moved up because of the cost savings with the acquisition of JIO, the expectation of good earnings as well. Um, with the open and the leg was supposed to open up a long time ago. I think it was supposed to open up
Hmm. It's been
March
somewhat
of this
delayed.
year, but yeah, they've delayed it a bit. I think it may open. I think it's August. They said of this year. Everything should be completed, and we should be driving on it. Let's
Hmm.
let's see what it's like. Kingston to Mandeville in in what 50 minutes?
How fast you do it now?
Me, I don't know if I can say
Yeah.
that on the podcast. I can say that on the podcast. I'll probably tell you like privately my fastest time, but
I mean, another big thing too, like if you look at it, it's really the directors' purchases. Like the directors bought a huge amount of units, like on March, was this March 21st, they bought 20 million shares.
mm,
And if you look at that, just after that time where the directors started buying heavy units and stuff, that's when you started to actually see the price going up. It was just languishing just below the 140, that IPO price. I don't know if that was like a psychological barrier and stuff like that. Was it
true.
141 was the IPO or something like that? But yeah, it's always been just trading at that period for like a long time, right? As they
Hmm.
just started buying up heavy volumes. That's
Yeah,
really
and
when, and
the
then,
trading has increased in that time in terms of volumes. Like you can tell the difference. Like if you look back prior to the directors buying up, just prior to like March and so on, the volumes weren't as great as even like what is this? Well, even now, look at now. You're seeing even on Friday, what is this? almost 5 million units traded. You've seen a ton of units being traded. So yeah, I like Transjam. I like what they're planning to do. They also pay pretty good dividends for people that love that, right? Because not many companies pay. I think they're the second best dividend payer, in terms of dividend yield, on the market. I'm not gonna calculate the yield right now, but I know they're very much up there. They're at least top three in terms of dividends, and a lot of people like their dividends, and there are a ton of units out there, so you can easily get units. Yeah,
you like it enough to
I.
buy it though.
There's also that, and at this price, guess we'd see. You guys have to speak to your licensed financial advisors about that, because that's not us. We just like talking about stocks. I would also say that I like how the actual business, when you actually manage the business, I do like how easy it is to even just top up, right? Because I can do it from my phone. I have the T tag.
So
The
you're a
T tag is
customer.
perfect. Yeah, yeah, and it only made sense because I used to live in Mandeville, and every time I'd come back to Kingston, it's just so much easier. I don't know why more people don't get T tags, because at the time when I bought it, there wasn't a fee that you had to pay to set up any T tag or anything like that. There's no additional fees when you pay online. And there's no tax. There's nothing. It's literally just seamless, and I can just do it from the app on my phone. Boom, one tap up, and I just go straight through. Sometimes I see people racing, and I'm just like, yo, if you really wanted to get where you wanted to go, you just get a T tag, yo, because you don't wait. And sometimes the lines can get pretty long. You don't wait in the lines. You just zoops through the toll booth. So I would encourage more people to get the T tags. So yeah, and I mean that also would be good for the company, because imagine if most people had a T tag, you wouldn't need to hire as many people operating the booths themselves. so that you'd save a lot of money in the long run. But yeah, that's on the company side. I just like how easy it is to put my money on the T tag itself. It's just I like seamless processes, and that's pretty seamless. So big them up for that. And are you expecting a ton more earnings with this new leg being opened up?
I wouldn't really say a ton more, but I definitely think that will help them to grow and stuff like that. I think it's good
Because
for
if
Jamaica too. If you get if you have
mhm,
more people, you, if you make it easier to get from like Kingston to Mandeville,
mhm,
you remember like now what you're seeing in Kingston is that the prices of like a lot of the houses and stuff like that are going up, rent, all that stuff, because the space is so limited and a lot of people want to work in Kingston because a lot of the businesses are in Kingston. So if you make it easier for people to live in Mandeville and they can work in Kingston, I think that's also good, especially even for like um I guess the real estate in Mandeville, because to me that's gonna probably increase the value of it, because you're gonna make it so that people who previously were working or say living in Kingston to work in Kingston, maybe they're like, I can buy these properties in Mandeville, which a lot of times the properties in Mandeville that I've seen, like you can get a much larger property for a much lower price. They might be more likely to want to, move to Mandeville, live there, and then they might just come to Kingston when they need to.
yeah,
So I think infrastructure developments, I guess, are just good, especially if you have a country that you want. Well, we're a developing country. If you want a country to grow and stuff like that, you need to have proper infrastructure. It just helps
agreed.
businesses overall. Like it's not just people, like um, shipping, distribution, stuff like that. It's just going to make distribution a lot faster.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Even
manufacturing
those big
companies can
trucks. I don't
benefit.
know if you've ever driven that route, but through like Scott's Pass and Porus and so on. Like a lot of those big trucks, they slow down a lot of cars and so on, and it's hard because the roads themselves aren't good. So if they had a nice clean highway to just drive on, not too winding and so on, much easier, much quicker deliveries and stuff like that. The whole logistics, distribution, as you say, all of that would increase the operational efficiencies. So I agree. I agree. And I mean, did you know that also Transjam benefits from so let's say they open up that leg, right? And you want like a gas station there. Like say Fesco wants to, have a large gas station um somewhere off the highway or something like that. They also benefit from that. I saw it in their report. They Let me see if I can find it. So
So
it's
each
in
they
their
try
Q1.
basically charge them rent. You're saying?
Basically charge them rent, bro. It was it's brilliant. See if I can find it. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why can't I find it? Oh, yeah, see it here. So it's under other gains and losses. Under the concession agreement, the company also has the right to collect revenues generated from commercial exploitation of the areas surrounding the toll road, including gas stations and related ancillary services, electricity and telecommunication, cables, and fiber optics. So they have the right to collect the revenues. So even though, and it may not be as linear as people think in terms of their earnings from it. I'm not sure if this probably wouldn't make up like the lion's share of their profits and or their revenue. Pretty sure the lion's share is still just from the toll itself, like direct costs. But even these indirect revenue sources is still pretty good for them and will still bode well for them. So I do like Transjam right now as a stock. Um, but this
But
ain't no stocks to
like it's
watch.
enough to buy it.
This is not a stocks to watch, so I'm not gonna say where I expect it to go or anything. But I do like it, and I mean they had uh, is it a call option? I think so. Basically, what they have is they have the I think the right to buy the rest of JIO. So right now they own 51% of Jamaica Infrastructure Operators Limited, JIO, but they can buy the other 49%. I think they have a time period on it. I think it's December 2024, from what I remember. Um,
Wait, where is that?
in the same report, under in the notes,
Is
note
it the annual
one.
report or the most
No,
recent?
no, the first quarter report. Same way. Let me see. See there? The call option to acquire the remaining 49% equity interest in the operator held by the contractor. So the operator is JIO, the contractor is Transjam Limited. Is expected to be exercised following, etc., etc. And you can see they gave a date. Operator is exercisable by December 9, 2024, which is the final date required by the concession agreement for the contractor to retain at least 49% equity interest in the operation for a nominal exercise price. So we don't know the price they're buying it, the rest at. That's already predetermined. But I mean, that's more cost savings if they own the entire thing. So they do have some pretty good plans. I mean, Transjam is that stock that you can move if you have like millions of dollars, millions move on a daily basis. So those real rich guys out there, they'd probably like looking at Transjam. Especially, I want to big up Transjam though, because a lot of people hold Transjam and we don't even know. Like a lot of people have held it from IPO days. You met that like IPO came out, the stock has not performed. Pretty sure some people sold, but some people held on because it was pretty it was well marketed. A lot of my friends bought in and so on. So I'm glad some of them are seeing the returns. Yo, my fastest time is actually minutes. Kingston to Mandeville. Imagine going like reaching there in 40 minutes, bro. What? I honestly,
That's
I'd
the
move
time they
back to
say.
Mandeville. I don't know. I don't know. Because the actual time now from Kingston to Mandeville is 1 hour 35 minutes based on like Google Maps and speed limit and stuff like that.
1 hour what?
1 hour 35 minutes.
Wait, oh, that's how long you're supposed to take.
Yeah. But sport mode. Mm. But I would honestly move back to Mandeville if it was like a 40-minute drive. Bro, Mandeville is so nice, like my rent was 40K a month for a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Um ends with a balcony and stuff. Like it would
A balcony?
have the balcony. Real rich, Um yeah, like rent is nice, the weather is great. Um, what's not to like about? Only thing is obviously no entertainment or a lack thereof of a lot of entertainment spaces. Some are being
That's a
built up
problem.
now. Yeah,
Like, cause I
some
don't
are being
understand.
built up now though.
If you say you go out,
Mm-hmm.
like say like last night, or you go to Tap Bar, those places, Jangas,
Mm-hmm.
like you go there, you're gonna have to drive all the way back in the middle of the night after you already had a drink. That kind of defeats the purpose. So
Well, I mean, my parents live in Kingston, so if I need to overnight it,
yeah,
that's
that's the thing,
all.
I guess, for you. But then I'm
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about like that's what
A
I
lot of
really.
other people.
Cause
True,
that's what I
but
think.
that also gives them the opportunity to open up a tap bar in Mandeville.
I know, but that's what I'm
You know.
saying. So I think that's what the highway is gonna help, because it's gonna make it more. If I want to set up that business, it makes it first off just easier to even get there. Like, because if I'm setting up a business there and I'm coming from Kingston, I have to be transporting things or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
going that hour or whatever, and then like, and you said it's an hour and a half on Google Maps, and that's like a good day. Like, what about bad days? Bad days is probably longer, like 2 hours, right?
I've never, it's never taken me an hour and a half. I don't think it's
Oh,
ever taken me an
but
hour and a
that's you
half.
driving fast, though. I'm saying like a person
No,
who
even if it's
actually.
pouring rain, I don't know if it. Well, on a bad day, I guess with all right, like leaving Kingston with Kingston traffic and so on, like and that
Mhm.
Portmore traffic. definitely that may
Yeah, that's
take
what I'm
you
saying.
longer. So you're right. You're right.
So I mean, I
You're
think
right.
this will be an opportunity for businesses. Like you just have to. The Mandible is just gonna probably continue to be developed. They're gonna open a lot more.
I can
You
tell
know,
Mandeville people not going to like that though. I know Mandeville
like,
people,
they'll
yo.
get packed.
Like, yeah, I don't think they're so chill, bro. Like Mandeville people are nice and they like that chill lifestyle. I
So Kingston
don't
people
know
aren't nice.
no. Not always. Not
So what you
always.
identify as then?
I mean, I'm a Kingstonian, don't get me
Oh,
wrong, but
okay, 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 okay,
I've been ruralized, so
okay.
but nah, like Mandeville
Farm
people are
goat and those
genuinely
stuff.
like very nice. I want to. I want to one day. I see Lauren out there doing it. Big up Lauren Peart. Um, going into farming and so on. But maybe one day. I definitely want to. Have always wanted to go into farming. One day when I have enough time and capital, um, I'd go into it. But for now, I'll watch from the sidelines. But yeah, I miss Mandeville, bro. So I'm hoping that highway would make it just easier for me to be there because I still have quite a few friends down that side. So yeah.
Hmm. Any others? I'm looking at this market page.
Um,
I think so. One would be interesting that we talk about Cygnus. I remember we used to bash
you jump in.
Cygnus.
Okay, yeah.
We used to
Cygnus.
bash Cygnus, man. But this just might be the time that you know Cygnus actually does the thing.
You
Um,
think Cygnus gonna do the do's?
maybe, maybe.
Mm.
So let me see. Maybe I should try to share my screen.
Their PE is 9. Hmm.
Oh,
They had a banger report. Let me see. Yes, I can see.
yeah. So this was an announcement that came out on May 16th
Yeah.
from Cygnus. They said Cygnus Credit Investments. And then this is just a reminder once again, guys, that if you don't know, we have a YouTube channel. You can search us up, Limitless Podcast. We'll try to put the YouTube channel in the description. So we're trying to share our screens and stuff like that so you can follow along better. So, this
Hmm.
is just a reminder. Subscribe to us on YouTube, guys. But yeah, so you see, this is on a notice they put out Cygnus Credit Investments. They said that the board of directors of the company on May 12th approved their share buyback, which they've spoken about um, from their
From
prospectus, from
IPO.
technically before, yeah, from when they listed. That was like 5 years ago. They say they are willing to spend up to 9 million US of Cygnus on Cygnus JMD and USD shares on an open market repurchase, spanning a period of 3 years, which would end June 2026. And they said a buyback is prescribed as the articles of association of the company. So I think something that's interesting, if you do the numbers on that, right? If
Hmm.
they said, wait, let me, oh, I should try to share my can I share the calculator? I should have probably just shared my overall screen. Hold on. Can I show? So 9 million US. That's basically 1.4 billion Jamaican. What's the exchange rate
Well, it
now?
said
I just use 155. Up to.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
up
said
to.
up to yeah.
Yeah, up to. And then if they say 3 years, so potentially every year that could be maybe as much as 400 million Jamaican per year, that they're willing to spend up to technically. Because remember, they don't have to. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the
So, and then even this breaking it down into me divided by three, like they don't actually have to spend that much. What they had said in at their AGM, and I'll probably try to put the AGM in the description, is that they have some. I think they said they're gonna have quarterly buyback targets. Like every quarter, they're gonna say, "Oh, we're gonna spend ideally up to this much," and then yearly targets too.
hmm
But the thing is, what I would say is just say we use these crude measures, like, and if you look at something like Cygnus, and then what this amount of money being spent, and if say I don't, the thing is I don't really know how they're gonna do it. Is it that they're gonna buy? I don't know if it's gonna buy every day or it's like every few days. I'll just buy a few units and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I
when
don't
you
think they
look
said
at
how
the
they're actually gonna do it.
yeah, I think that
Um,
will just be you'll have to
and they
wait on
didn't
the
say,
disclosures and stuff.
yeah, because they didn't actually say that you don't know the day they're actually gonna start, right? The program will
Well,
start by.
he so at the AGM, the
Mm-hmm.
confusing so at the AGM they said that I think they said they would try for the by the end of their financial year. But the confusing part is that with Cygnus, if you look at the prospectus is where they first spoke about the buyback, right?
Yeah.
And then in the prospectus, when they were speaking about the buyback, what did they search it as? So I don't know this um, offer or something like that. I'm trying to remember what they called it. The offer,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, see. So this means this document is literally from the listed. So it says at this. So this is what they first said many years ago. They said the articles, which is the articles of the company, basically provided that the company will after the fifth anniversary date, and then
Key.
they listed. I forget the exact date, but they had listed. I think it was June. Which date is it? It's June something. I can check after. So they say they invite shareholders to offer for sale such number of shares. And then they said the aggregate value or the total value of those shares when you add it up will not exceed more than 15% of their NAV. And then they said this will be called the initial invitation. And then they said after the initial invitation, they'll make similar invitations every 3 years
Mm-hmm.
after that fifth anniversary date. And then they said they have to make those invitations within 90 days. But the thing is, if you read this, even though they don't specifically state it, there's two ways you can do a buyback.
Mm-hmm.
Well, two ways based on the JSE
On the
rules.
JSE, yeah,
Yeah, you can do what they
as
call
they
what
say.
self tender offer,
Mm-hmm.
which my understanding is like okay, it's like I make an offer to say okay, we are willing to buy up to 50 million shares at X price. Everybody's supposed to get the same price. Just like how you would apply for like an IPO, it's like you can apply to sell your shares and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody would get their guaranteed price, and it just that's guaranteed. The thing is, the wording of this makes it sound. It made it sound to me like it was going to be a self tender offer
Tender.
(STO), but then now they have basically switched it, and it seems that they've switched it to what the other type of way that you can do a buyback, which is an open market repurchase, which is what is most commonly done. So, like um, some of the more recent buybacks, I say First Rock is probably the most recent one. So
I thought
they
you were
did an
gonna say
open market
JMMB.
repurchase. Uh, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen any notice about a buyback, so I don't know. You have to tell me about that one.
But yeah, I remember the first rock one definitely. You could see it. Um,
So like I'm looking at this. This was a notice. This well, the buyback has already started. Maybe I should look for the first one they had put out. I think it was. They had put well, not the first one. 'Cause they had put out an initial one, and then they said there was a delay. So this was the first one, and then oh yeah. Because the thing is, this is I guess similar to what Cygnus had put out here. Because this was from like March last year. They said, oh, the board has approved. We're going to do an open market share buyback. They said how much they're willing to spend up to. They said when it would start, but then it didn't end up starting at time. So then they put out another notice. Oh, we initially
mhm.
said this time, but like it changed. Now it's going to start this time. And then they actually started buying. Well, oops. They actually started buying the shares. Uh, so if you look, what was I even bringing this up to talk about? I was saying that if you look at Cygnus, for example, Cygnus has a lot more cash than, for example, First Rock. Or like First Rock,
Yeah.
a lot of their investments are real estate and stuff like that. And I guess they do have they have like rental income, and then they do get some amount of cash, but they don't really generate as much cash. So there was like a limit to how many shares that they can buy. And the other thing is that if you look at it, First Rock here, maybe I should probably zoom in. First Rock here, they actually tell you. So they said the maximum number of shares intended to be purchased. They say, because this is actually one of the things that the JC rules say you have to say. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to state how many shares. So you notice there are this amount of JMD shares and this amount of USD shares. I mean, there's different prices and stuff like that. Because the JMD is like 10 or 11, and then the US is like, I have to check. But basically, if you work out the JMD and the USD prices and stuff, more of the money is going towards the US side.
USD, yeah.
Yeah. And then if you look at, maybe I should look at the cash thing to show what I'm talking about. Let's see the report here. Mhm. Let's see how much cash First Rock had. So
You zoom in.
see. Oh,
Where's that tab?
I should
Yeah.
download the reports actually. Oops. Can I not just view it? Oh,
Ah, it's fine. I can see it.
there's a way that I used to have something where I could view it within the browse. Oh, yes. Yeah, I had an extension. Um, yeah, so if you look at this, right, first up, for example, this is in US dollars, and this is up to March. They had, what's this? You can see this?
Yeah, 940.
940 thousand
Nine,
US,
yeah, 940,000 US.
right? So 940,000 US under my 155. That's 145 million Jamaican. But
Mm-hmm.
then look at something like Cygnus. Look at their most recent report. Oh, nice. This one opened up nice. So, where is the asset? Look at something like this. Cygnus has a lot more cash. Their business has a lot more cash. Look at this. That's US, say times 155. Look at that, 575 million in cash. They have a ton more cash
Mm-hmm.
that they can actually allocate. I mean, I don't expect them to. They're not
Yeah,
gonna,
it's like
put all
four
of that and stuff.
times.
But the thing is, if you just look at it, way more cash that they actually have to spend.
Yeah.
And mhm. And then one of the reasons why I feel, well,
Do you think
well,
they'd buy more JMD versus USD?
um, I think so.
Really?
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
granted, either way, the amount of money I think they would spend on this buyback would still be pretty significant for the share price. So whether it's
Mm-hmm.
JMD or USD, however they want to split it, I don't think they'd split it like for the purpose of the buyback. Because I remember
Mm-hmm.
at the AGM they were talking about shareholder value and so on, and so sounds like they're doing it for the share price. Sounds like they're doing it because they're like, yo, it's not close to
Yeah,
NAV
'cause I mean, if you
at
look at
all.
it, look at the Cygnus did their APO. Wasn't that
Hmm.
at like $16 or something like that,
Yeah.
16.30? Or if you're a shareholder,
Hmm.
it's like $14, which is one of the reasons why I feel, um, well, I don't say it, but you notice that the share price right now it closed at like $12 or so.
Hmm.
So, and I've seen them kind of talk about using that APO prices or IPO prices, the APO price as a basis, because they were
Hmm.
saying that, oh, they were something that they were talking about like with the dividend yield and basing that, like they have a target dividend yield of I think 5% every year, and then they're basing that based on the APO price. um, so in my view, they likely want to they likely would want the share price to be above or at least go back to that APO price. So if you do the numbers on that, if you're buying this now at like say even $13,
Hmm.
and then the APO price was say 50, well depending on what you
16.
do. So let's just, I
Hmm.
mean, if it's 16, I think it was 16.30 and then 14.70. Let's just say 15. like you have somewhat of a, you know, someone of, I guess, a profit point there. And then the thing is, if you look at it, all their earnings have just continued to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And like, let me see, like in the most recent report, how much were the profits up? Like, so I always
Yeah,
hate
no,
this,
they
yo.
were pretty
I
profitable. I
always hate how
remember.
they do this. This is so annoying. You have to
Yeah.
flip it. Why do you do this, sickness? Why do you do this? Yeah, look at this. 3 months up to March this year compared to March last year, 1.5 million US in profit versus 3.7. Like, and the thing is, if the type of business they have, like how they tend to
Mm-hmm.
structure their deals, they tend to have very low default rates on the type of loans. So I'm it's quite an interesting play, and then one of the reasons too, I feel like maybe it's, what would you even say? Maybe it's me being childish, but I guess if any of our longtime listeners remember the days we used to talk about Cygnus, one of the reasons why we were kind of bashing them. Well, I don't know about you, but I lost money on Cygnus, and I don't
I've
like
also
losing
lost money
money.
on signals. Yeah.
I don't like losing money. So one of the
Actually, I think
things,
I just broke even, but I held on
nah, I
way too
lost money.
long.
I lost
Yeah.
money, bro. Like, not money I
Chat.
wanted to lose, yo.
I'm sorry.
So like it, I mean,
It
it
hurt
taught me
you.
a lesson, yo. It taught me a lesson. It taught me a lesson, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
the L stand for lessons, bro. But
I
I
love
think
that.
that's one. I think that's even one of the reasons why I kind of want to make money from this play, because it's like making money from a stock that I lost. I want to make back the money that I lost and more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we could also, there's other stuff I could go into, but what I'd suggest, like, just I would suggest someone at least do your research and you read into what they're saying. Look at how much. What I'd suggest, look at what Cygnus has said so far. Look at previous buybacks. I'd
Mm-hmm.
also suggest reading the rule book about what happens with a buyback.
And the
And
steps.
then, yeah, it will show you like what is likely to happen. Um, and yeah, always do your due diligence. Always do your due diligence.
Always do your research. I do like the play. Love Cygnus as a
Like it's
company.
enough to put money in it.
We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I do. I mean, I've always loved Cygnus. Cygnus was the first stock I fully analyzed and
So you're gonna
understood.
say fully done, you know.
Nah, I remember putting in money in Cygnus, bro. Like, no, I have lost money on Cygnus. So I've made money on Cygnus and I've lost money on Cygnus. I lost money. I was holding it. I had some shares when COVID hit, so that's when I lost some money on Cygnus. I did make money twice off of it when I was buying at like 20 or 19 and selling at like 24. But that was like 2019. And yeah, I bought in their APO. I think I was already a shareholder, so I got that the nice discount. And then the stock wasn't really going anywhere, and I held it for a while, so I just sold. Minimal profit, but yeah, it's just, as you say, it's lessons. Now you get to understand why the price was stagnant, why the price is where it is now. It's $12, and APO price was $16 for the just general public. So I mean, if they want to do something to the share price, I'm with you guys. And if Beresford wants to come on, Sir Gray, that would be excellent. We'd love to have you so we can talk more about the buyback. But until
Yo,
then,
people who bought it at 16.30, they're down over 20%. You know, and that's like how many years ago now? That's
that's
2020.
2021 or 2020. Yeah,
2020 as well. See the prospectus says. Hold on, Cygnus
it
Plus
came out I think December
closed. Yeah,
2020.
so it closed. Oh wait, I think they had extended it though. I think it was to close end of December, and I think they ended up. But basically, it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. We'd like to see some of the financial stocks. You know, do something, you know?